Someone asked me to put up the percentages, by college in order. What are the percentages that someone's going to match so they could decide whether they're going to approach phase two. And I think it's fair enough to look at the college and say, around where is it and around what would my chances be in phase two versus phase one. So, in general, you've got, kind of the big hitters. Union only put in 12 into the match, and they matched at 90%. But you've got, UNC, Drake, St. John Fisher, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, UCSF, South Dakota State, Idaho State, and Michigan that round out the top 10 of the, just highest matches. And if you're in those schools, your chances of matching, if you were in last year, are greater than 4 out of 5. And I won't name the colleges because that's just mean. But if you look at the bottom, your chances of matching are, in some cases, less than 1 in 5. You maybe have, there's three colleges in the teens, 2, 4, 6, 8 in the 20s, and then quite a few in the 30%. So as you're looking at these and saying, do I have a practical chance in phase two? Well, while RPDs probably don't actually look at this list and sort it and make sure, okay, well, I want somebody from a school that's in the top such and such, what they do have is reputation. And that reputation very much would align with this. If you look at the top colleges, you see UNC, Drake, St. John Fisher, Pitt, West Virginia, UCSF, South Dakota State, Idaho State, Michigan, those are top colleges. And those are colleges that send a ton of residents. And because of that, there are a ton of residents out there to, again, kind of perpetuate that. So it's more likely that in their region, the residents are going to be from those colleges. And so that kind of keeps going. So are there any general trends for those that really have a tough time matching? The very bottom 20% of this group are almost all private colleges, except for, I think, 2. So it's more likely, and they're newer private colleges in general, not all of them. There's also a ton of the 3-year schools. The very first 3-year school that even pops up in terms of percentages is Midwestern Glendale. So if you're going to a 3-year school, that's the one that has the best residency chance to make it. But that comes in at number 82. Now, UCSF, which is in the very top, switched their curriculum to 3 years, so obviously they'll be there in the next year or two. But again, if you're kind of trying to figure out, do I do phase two? I would look at these percentages, and obviously I'm always here for emails, just TonyThePharmacist at gmail.com, Tony, thepharmacist at gmail.com. And feel free to email me, and I'll tell you, hey, let me look at where your school is. Let me see, what you've got going on in terms of CV and LOI, and I can make a very quick decision in terms of, what your chances probably are. And it takes me about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do something like that. Now, the issue is that the RPDs are going to be overwhelmed because there's going to be 200 applications, 300 applications in just the first few hours. And so a lot of times what they have to do is go by reputation and by people they know. So they're going to ask their residency group, hey, who do you know that's in this group? And then they're going to look, okay, well, around us in our region, which ones are the best schools or which ones have the highest residency match rate. And they may not actually go to the data like this and go, okay, well, let's look at the first 10 or let's look at the first 20. But that reputation probably has a number. People say, okay, well, UNC's a pretty good school or Pitt's a pretty good school. But they don't go, okay, well, UNC's at 88 and Pitt's at 84%. They just intuitively have had very good success with those students. Those students have matched for a reason. They've been vetted and all of that stuff. So again, take it with a grain of salt. This is by percentages, and it's from 2019, so it may not be right for 2020, but it's the best thing I can give you in terms of a predictor of, are you going to match on Friday? And then from Friday, if you have to go into phase two, was it you or was it your school? And so if you're coming from UNC and you don't match in phase one, I would certainly go to phase two because there's such a high number. If you're from Drake and you don't match in phase one, I would definitely go to phase two. But if you're from other colleges and you don't match in phase one, I would wonder, well, do you even have a reasonable chance in phase two? And it's unfair that, yes, it's other students who didn't match and other students who went through their APPEs and other students, and you may be a great one. Now, that's the thing, though. Every single school or college of pharmacy matched somebody. It's just different. If you're at Wisconsin, you just have to be in the top 76, okay, of 100 students that applied. Okay, but if you're at another school, you might have to be in the top 2. And that's the big difference. That's why some match and some don't. So anyway, I just want to, again, wish you luck, but maybe this will give you a little bit of at least something to look at and start kind of planning, where is my college? Should I get into phase two? And of course, I'm there to help you. Just email me, TonyThePharmacist at gmail.com. I'll be there all day Friday to see if I can help you, whether it be with LOI, just some advice, things like that. Hey, thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. I do encourage you to go to residencyhelp.com, get on the mailing list. I'll send you out an email every Friday during residency season, but then afterwards, I'll still have a number of episodes on helping you get through residency itself. And then if you're somebody that's looking at residency in the future, I'll also have content for that as well. If you have a question, I'm pretty good about getting back to you. And if I don't have an answer, I will know someone that does. So thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please do rate and review. It really matters in terms of our ability to reach more people. Thanks again.